Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Today, we're here with Andreas, our CEO. Hi, Andreas.
Hi, Sylvie. How are you?
Good. Hope you too. Are you
Yes,
doing good? Ready?
doing good.
Perfect. Okay, so today I will leave you, or we will leave you guys the time to connect to our live today, as usual, because I know that it takes a couple of seconds, minutes to connect. Today we will talk about two beautiful events where magicplan took part recently. One is the RIA convention that took part in West Palm Beach in Florida, and the other one is the Restore trade show where we went to Louisville, Kentucky. So if you guys have questions in the meantime, write them down in the comments and we will answer them. Feel free to ask anything. You know that we're open to answer all your questions. Then I would say, Andreas, would you like to start telling us something about your impressions, takeaways from the RIA convention?
I mean, starting with a personal story, I actually attended it using the train in Florida, so that was quite an experience for me. I flew into Fort Lauderdale and then took the train to West Palm Beach. So I made use of this opportunity and then walked through West Palm Beach, which is a lovely place. Have to admit that. And attending the conference really was amazing for me because I felt like for me it was the first time. So as magicplan, we've been part of RIA and have attended conferences in the past, but me personally, for me it was the first time, and it was in the type of conversations I had and everything. It was really like a homecoming, right? I didn't know I had a home in West Palm Beach or at RIA, but it really felt that way. So that was just cool. And then we'll dive into the details later.
Amazing. Maybe I can show a 25 seconds video that we prepared for you guys, and then we're back. Okay, and we're back.
Yeah. So what did we see in the video? We had fun and we went to a bar, but that's not the homecoming part. I think the conversations that we had there. I mean, for everyone who's not familiar with it, but RIA is basically the industry body for restorers in the US. I learned a lot about the history as well, and it is really like if you want if you're serious about what you're doing, you are kind of connected to RIA or getting certified by RIA or actually contributing. And that was really the sense I got from being present there is those were all the restorers that really care, right? And that was kind of the quality of discussions that we had. It was very deep, very focused, lots of user engagement at the conference with people who use magicplan at the moment and just wanted to learn more or even just tell about what they're doing with it. And that was a market difference to some of the other conferences, which I thought was fascinating.
And you also told me that it was not only North American centered, but there were people from all over the world, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I think RIA is a US organization, or like US and Canada broadly or mostly. But we actually had two people from Australia there, two existing customers who were in the US and also attended RIA. We had people from the UK there. So I think that speaks to the value of the organization and the value of the conversations going on there, that people really from out of the country are making the effort and going there, and yeah, I guess meeting just kind of like-minded people, but attending this conference and getting their certifications there, getting their trainings there, that is really next level.
I think that people on this point also made the effort to come to Louisville, because as I landed, and maybe also other people who attended, there was a tornado warning. And it was a very interesting moment to land with the plane, but overall everything worked. So
yeah, I mean, I was supposed to join you there in Louisville, but couldn't out of some scheduling conflicts, late minute scheduling conflicts. But then at the same time, it was a rough touchdown for you, as I understand.
yes, I mean, everything worked fine in the end, but it was an interesting, let's say, moment to land before the event, a couple of days before, with the winds and rain. So it was interesting. Let's say it like that.
So share about your trip and your experience to Louisville.
Okay. Well, I have to say that it was the very first time for me in Kentucky. And I had this weird feeling too, as you said about Florida, that you felt like being at home, that like as if it would have been a place that I visited before, because people were really, really welcoming. So you don't experience this everywhere, not even in Italy, where I come from, I would say. But beautiful place, and the conference or the trade show, as you want to call it, was really big, and there were a lot of different companies that did other interesting things, not only magicplan and competitors that do something similar, also people that do, I don't know, roofing and other things related to restoration. So it was also interesting to talk with other people that had a booth there for me.
Great. We had, I mean, I want to share some of the conversations that we had, because I thought that were interesting, and because I want to give you an insight of why I felt homecoming. Most of my conversations that I had, that deeper conversations had, were really leading towards, okay, how can you actually make your operations more efficient? And like the one conversation that I had, which sparked my brain the most, where like I had someone who was a trained Six Sigma belt holder, which is kind of a methodology from manufacturing, actually. And having that type of kind of consideration for the restoration industry was just something that I hadn't seen previously. And then people who know me, I mean, my background is in automotive manufacturing as well. So that was really where I said, oh my God, after kind of 12 years in the industry, I found one person who is exactly on the same track as I am, but then also others. And that was where I took great joy out of this, and yeah, used that thoughts and ideas to test with many of the other people who visited our booth thereafter, and that really seemed to hit off a train. So that was interesting to me.
Okay. Maybe at this point, since I see we have some people already that joined us, I can also show the little clip, 50 seconds, that we prepared for the Restore trade show, and then we're back. Give him 1 sec. you can see that we saw a lot of beautiful places in Louisville, Kentucky.
What
Was
were
really
your
nice.
driving themes of the conversation, Sylvie?
Sorry.
What were your driving themes? We also saw you interviewing one person at the
Mhm.
booth. What was kind of the main topic that you talked about?
Well, we talked about the pain points in the restoration industry. It was like the main topic, and what would people like to change or what they would like to be better. But then we will see those interviews in some days because we recorded them with different people that someone uses already Magic Plan and someone doesn't. So this is also interesting to see that they have some common points, in my opinion, even if they use different technologies. And we also had some people visiting the booth because they were looking for some software solutions or something more modern because they were still doing their floor plans with pen and paper. That surprised me, but we had a couple of people that said that yes, we're still using pen and paper and a Bluetooth laser meter. Can you
Yeah.
believe it?
Can you believe it? I mean, one topic for me where I say, hey, this whole operational efficiency stuff, what was one recurring theme again, and we talked about this, we're talking about this a lot, is kind of like fragmented systems. And I have this like, I need to go into one, out from another, into the next, out, in, out, in, out. So that was one topic which frustrated people, I think. And then also one element that I heard from time to time is, okay, it just needs to be fast, fast and quick and easy. And this speed element, but also almost feeling chased, is one concept that I think we all know, and how to handle this and approach it in terms of, okay, what's the right balance between pure speed and kind of like staying on top of your things and on top of keeping organized, is another interesting conversation that we had. And I mean, tying it then back to the Six Sigma, what is that model, right? You want to be fail safe, which is like my element. If you're rushing through stuff just to fail later, that's not ideal. So
Yep.
how to actually build something that is fail safe in the process, is like my dream scenario. And that's, yeah, one element that we are trying to touch on with the stuff that we are presenting is kind of this voice enabled capture, where you basically ask to actually slow down at some points and say, okay, maybe you forgot something here. Maybe it's worthwhile taking another minute to document this at detail or give this some more thought. What are you going to actually achieve here? What are you trying to do? So that you are maybe 15 seconds slower at that time, but potentially save days in rework or stuff
Or
later down the line. And finding that balance, of when to speed up and when to slow down was, yeah, kind of the theme I carried throughout that conference, and which
Mhm.
I tried to test with a couple of the people that I spoke to.
Yes, also because I mean, even if you do any errors while you do your scanning and everything, afterward you can still do your editings. So this was also a topic that was surprising for some people because then they asked, yes, but if I do something wrong, and then I said, well, it's okay, you can still fix your walls, your rooms afterward. And this was a positive thing because if you have a project and you cannot edit it afterward and you did something wrong, then you have to redo it from scratch. So this was also a thing that surprised people that of course never used Magic Plan. And well, time, yes, as people say in Germany, time is money, no. So it is like that, I think, all over the world, I would say. And also, I mean, we of course offer a service that needs to be efficient and also to help people in real life, right? So you have people that go on site after a cat event. We have a nice interview that we are going to release in some days about the topic, but you're really helping people that survived or experienced something mm, big, something that maybe shocked them. So you need to help them quickly to, let's say, go back to the normal daily life, right? So this is also an important thing, which is why time is important for every restorer, I would say. No.
Around those two conferences, we launched both Precision Link and 360 Link. And one encounter that I also found surprising, kind of, or not surprising, but encouraging, is the level of excitement around kind of 360 Link and the new cameras. I think you brought the Insta360 X5 to the
Yeah.
conference
Yes.
to do your recordings, and you kind of notice the difference and the better quality in imagery and kind of like low light conditions. Maybe you can talk us through this a little bit.
Yes, I noticed the difference with other cameras and also the other Insta360, like the models before this one. Let's say that the X5, in my opinion, it's very intuitive to use, first of all. And in situations like you said, Andreas, when you do not have a perfect light, for example, in a museum, as I did also to test it and film something, um, you get the info, pay attention, the lighting is not ideal, but still the image quality, it's really nice. Also, you can start recording in 8K, then you compress your file to a 4K video afterward, and it's not pixeled, which is nice. Because if you record something and you think, I don't know how it's gonna be because the light was not ideal, but I saw that it really works. Thanks God. And it's also easy to move around in the menu. So to find the settings. And I started playing a couple of weeks, maybe 1 week before we recorded everything in Kentucky with this camera because we got it new. And I have to say that it felt, or I felt good using it even when I was somewhere by myself. So it was really working good.
Cool. And I mean, we are about to kind of like launch that latest capability soonish, next couple of days or weeks, not long thereafter. And that is really along the line of empowering you while you're in the field. So this kind of connectivity to the newest technology and capability is something that we hold dear. And we see it recognized, which was encouraging while I was there. And that was actually a conversation with an Australian customer during which he notified me that he's excited about testing the new X5 image quality.
Okay. Did you, Andreas, test it already or not yet?
No,
Not
not
yet,
yet.
because I have it
No, no.
here.
Yes, exactly.
I'm the one running the testing with the X5.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions for us, or do you, Andreas, have any questions about something that we maybe didn't touch, or something that comes to your mind?
No, I mean, after learning around even more for me personally, Restorer, the certified Restorer and the RIA, I was, really in a mind curious to see where this can bring us magicplan as a company in terms of how can we better help people to be guided in the field. I mean, that's a theme that we are talking about going forward. And so for me, it was really highly inspirational, absorbing all those observations. And I think we are in the process of really seeing how can we translate the knowledge that is out there in the industry and make it accessible to everyone while they are on site. That's what drives us. That's what we want to do. I had some conversations with big franchises as well, where they say, hey, kind of, that's the challenge of how can we make that information accessible at the kind of like point of action. So, and for a lot of cases, that is just on site, right? That's where the actual work is happening. So that was one of the conversations that I had, is how can I make clear to the person who's involved with whatever process step during mitigation or restoration reconstruction work, what they need to do. And yeah, that is where I'm especially curious about how we can incorporate kind of this real-time, instant, live feedback nature of basically walking around a site with your camera and video stream open, and how can we
Yeah.
combine that with kind of existing industry knowledge to really enable the people in the field to be more productive and kind of like do the best of work that they can do.
Yes. I also saw some people being maybe sometimes skeptical about technology if they didn't really use anything about other than pen and paper, for example. But I also reassured them saying, but we have an onboarding process, so you're not left alone, right? So you can start with us. We guide you through, and then you can start using it on site.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I left RIA with a lot of excitement, and yeah, that is we're trying to turn that excitement into something tangible right now. That's the work that I'm in the midst of during that very day. So if you have any questions on operational efficiency, on kind of real-time on-site guidance, on integrations with different tools, let us know. If not, thanks for listening in. Thanks for sharing your time with us. And then we hope to kind of like catch you next with some nice updates about how we can actually make that accessible to everyone out there.
Exactly. And then we will be still in other events, other conferences, trade shows. So maybe you can meet us there. And if you have questions, you can ask us also in person. I see that we do not have questions. So I think that we can slowly close our live session for today. If you're watching the replay and you do have questions afterward, you can contact us here at support@magicplan.app and we will answer you, of course. Andreas, thank you so much for your time today.
Sylvie, thank you for taking the trip to Kentucky. Thanks for hosting, and enjoy the rest of your day.
It was amazing. It was a pleasure. And thank you guys for your time. And as we always say at the end of our live video, depending on the time zone where you are, I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.